All right, hello and happy Sunday. We're going to try this again. I don't know. This is number four. They say third time is a charm, and the first three went fine. Number four is trying to be a bugaboo. Let me see if I can get Barb on here. Hey Monica, hey Nicole, thanks for joining. I am trying to get today's interviewee on, and we're having technical difficulties. When I send the invite, she's not able to accept, and when she sends me an invite, I'm not able to accept. So, um, we'll start with the end from the beginning, and maybe the technical difficulties will alleviate themselves while we're here. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Yes, I got this. I'm okay. It's so interesting because when I do these every week so far, past this is number four, and I haven't really felt any nervousness. But today, going into this one, I felt like real low energy. I felt a little bit nervous, and she has such an interesting story. I kind of want people to hear it, and so it's kind of a bummer that I can't get her on. I can tell she's trying to get on, but for whatever reason, it's not working for her. Um, I'm going to try inviting her one more time, and I'll keep going for now while I wait for her. But for those who are joining for the first time, technically, what we normally do here on Sundays is I interview a fellow introverted business owner, an introvertpreneur, as I like to call them. And we just talk about, how we've been able to be successful in our different ventures, even in spite of the things that make us feel oh wait, Monica's saying, girl, today's vibe has been weird. I've been super emotional all morning. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, is it a full moon or something? Like, what's going on? Okay, look, she sent me an invite. Let me see if it will work this time when I accept it. But yeah, it's been a wonky day. Um, so yeah, so I created this so that I can give, oh, here's another invite. Let me try again. Um, Anyway, created this so that I could give people just like me a chance to hop on. And there she is, Miss America. All right, hi.
Bingo.
I don't know how many times that's been. Fifth time's the charm.
He kept saying access denied.
Yeah, and every time I clicked it, it would say she denied it. So I don't know. But it's okay. We're here now. That's all that matters. I was so excited because I was like, your story is so interesting to me, and I'm like, I hope you don't feel bad, but okay. So guys that are watching, everyone that's watching that hasn't seen this before, I normally will send out the questions in advance so that if it's needed, because me as an introvert, I like to be prepared, and so I feel like other people might want to too. So I send it out in advance just in case people need to prepare. Some people use it, some people don't. I don't know if you use the questions I sent or not, but after I read like all the things about you, I changed like what I might talk to you about. But I think you'll be able to handle it because it's you.
Okay.
I'm only asking you questions about you. It's just my framework might be a little bit different. But Barb, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for making it. Where are you joining from? What city?
I'm joining from South Hill, Virginia.
South Hill, Virginia. I don't know where that is, but um, anybody who knows where that is, you can throw in the comments. Hey, I know where she's at. What is that close to? Is it close to Richmond? I know Richmond, Virginia. I know Fairfax. I think that's in Virginia. Where is
I'm
it
on the
closest to
board. I'm
Richmond?
on the border between North Carolina and North Carolina and Virginia, and I'm
Oh,
in between Raleigh and Richmond.
oh, okay. Okay. I know where that is. Not your place, but I know that spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That gives me I'm visual, so now I can kind of
Okay.
see where you are. And I'm in Georgia. I'm a suburb of Atlanta, just in case I didn't tell you that before we spoke before. But I'm excited to have you. Your whole story about your career and entrepreneurship and everything is so interesting because for someone who is a fellow introvert, the things that you've done, I don't know how you did it. And so I'm just ready to dig in. So, Barb Mickelsen, did I say your last name correctly?
You did? Yes.
Awesome. Tell us about just you, the woman, not about business or anything yet, but just tell us about you. What are things you love to do? What are you passionate about?
I grew up on a farm in Anvil, Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
and it instilled like a good work ethic because you were always doing barn chores, juggling
Hmm.
that with homework and
Hmm.
family life. So that's my background. And when I got married over 24 years ago, we built a farm and we lived there.
Oh,
Yeah, and we lived there. And then we got this crazy idea, moved to the lake. So we moved to the lake in North Carolina, lived there for 16 years, missed our animals. And guess what? Last year we built a house on our farm. So I am
really?
back on the farm with cats,
And
dogs,
that's
and chickens.
interesting. Because you told me also, I think you have your background 4-H.
Yes,
Yeah, so it kind of just aligns with that.
it does. Yeah, I was in
So
4-H as a
interesting.
child.
Hmm. That is so interesting. Okay, cool. Well, now that I know that in terms of the work ethic piece, that could explain why you were so successful in these different arenas, but I want to dig in and learn more about it. So before we get started, I always like to ask everybody, because the whole point here is to help people come out of their shell, get uncomfortable, but in a comfortable way. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you currently feel about the idea of doing this interview?
Oh, I can't
One
believe I'm
being
sitting.
lack of comfort, or 10 to most comfortable.
I can't believe I'm sitting here. This is my first on camera. I don't mind doing things, but not when there's a camera involved. No,
This is your first on camera?
it is.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yay! I got to, break you in on live. There you go. Okay.
So that could
So
have
then,
contributed to the beginning.
we say you're at a 1 right now, then, huh?
I'm what?
At a 1, maybe on the scale of comfort, like
Yeah, it's
1
not
being
too
lowest, 10
high.
being highest. Okay, not too high. All
If
right.
we
Well,
were
we'll
on
see
the
where you.
phone, I'd be fine. But on
Uh-huh.
camera is a little tricky.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we're about to help you get used to this so that you can do more of it because I'm sure that your message that others need to hear is something that people can gain a lot of inspiration from. And so we'll start with right here, right now with us. So you said your passion is farming. Sounds like you are married. Do you have any kids or anything?
No, but I have 50 animals out there that depend on me.
That might as well be children.
They just happen to be four-legged.
They just happen to be four legged. Okay, cool. So, how do you have the energy to run a business and all of that since this is something you've been doing for a while and also run a farm? Is it just because of your work ethic or, where did that come from?
That's part of it. You get up early and you do the farm life, thing. You go
Hmm.
out and
Hmm.
feed the chickens, the cats, and the cows, and then you come in and you do your work, and you end the day repeating that, going back out and doing your farm work,
Hmm.
and sometimes
And
in between.
that makes sense because, they might get hungry at different parts of the day, not just in the morning. Okay. Well, um, you are at this time, you're pivoting into the area of visual optimization specialist, which is also, you said, AKA your graphics and video girl. And I'm going to ask you about that later on, but I kind of want to go down your journey because, again, I'm so curious. So, you used to teach seminars at Penn State for up to 400 people. I don't know how on earth you did that as an introvert. So, I want to know what challenges did you face just in the beginning, like the idea of having to do that. What challenges did you face, and what did you do to overcome them? Like, especially as an introvert, like what were the personality
Well,
things, I guess, that you felt might have gotten in the way?
I was a home ec major,
Hmm.
and so I was used to teaching,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kids, it wasn't adults. And then I went to
Mm-hmm.
work for Penn State, and I was an adult education teacher. And you start out small with small groups, and then you gradually grow, and the word gets out about your seminars, and next thing you know, 400 show up. It's like, whoa.
So
But
what did you do like when that happens? Like what were you feeling when you went from like let's just say your base group was like 25 and you found out it was going to be about 400 at this next meeting? Like what goes through your head? How do you prepare for that?
you just got to step into it. There's nothing else to do at that point. You just got to
Hmm.
go and do it.
Hmm.
You don't have a choice because everybody's there and they're depending on you, and you just have to pull it off. And plus I was younger, young and dumb. You don't think about it back then.
Yeah, that's true. You don't think about it as much. You're a little bit more of a risk taker because you haven't experienced a whole lot of things yet to make you believe different. So yeah, that makes sense. So step into it, I guess, would be one of your pieces of advice.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
step
just
into it.
do it. Hmm.
All right. So you also told me that during your 25-year career in as a mortgage loan officer, I guess, did I
Correct.
title that correctly?
You did.
Um, that one of the challenges you faced was that with it being a male-dominated industry, was that if this offends anyone, I'm sorry, but it's reality. You didn't have the right thing between your legs to be successful. How on earth do you successfully maneuver a male-dominated environment like that and be the number one loan officer at that bank?
It was challenging. I mean, throughout my career, you could just kind of build and grow with the times. And when you
Hmm.
first start out, you don't know what you're into. You have no idea. You have no experience, no
Hmm.
expectation. It just kind of happens. But
Hmm.
when I was told I wasn't getting any business from that real estate office because I didn't have the right thing between my legs, I didn't even know what to say. My mouth just dropped open like, what?
Yeah.
So then they tried talking me into being a real estate agent. Oh, you do more marketing than the real estate agent. You'd be a perfect real estate agent. They didn't want to confront the issue. So I eventually left that company and went to
Hmm.
a bank
Hmm.
because I was not putting myself to work in that environment any longer.
Right. Yeah. So you took your life into your own hands, and that's even a risk in itself to make that job change like that, right?
It's an industry where you're 100% commission. So the whole thing is a risk from the
True.
get-go to the end. I mean, you just don't know.
Hmm.
But it turned out to be a great risk.
Hmm.
But you don't know when you're starting out, like, okay, well, I have nothing to lose. And then, unfortunately, because of the structure of that business, you end up job hopping a lot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're more like being a self-employed person than
Hmm.
being an employee because you are 100% commission, and only the ones that survive are the ones that treat it like a business.
Mm. Do you feel like that's what has helped you with? So when we get ready to talk about what you're doing now with the visual optimization, is that the true entrepreneur venture that you're on now, or have you done other stuff before that as an
I did
entrepreneur?
other stuff before that. I
Okay,
had a
so what
catering
made you
and deli
comfortable with it?
business.
Oh, really? Catering in the deli business?
I was a home ec major.
So you had a lot of different ideas. Do you feel like being in that industry you were in with real estate and the way you had to maneuver those environments, did that help you? Like, even though you were feeling kind of like, oh my God, like during the process, but did those things that made you feel uncomfortable help you to be better at what you did outside of it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. In fact, it's like it was male dominated, but
Hmm.
they weren't workers. I consider
Mm.
myself a worker bee. So I listened to the real estate agents and what their
Hmm.
complaints were about their loan officers. And a lot of time it was, we're not informed. I thought, well, that's easy enough to fix. I can keep them informed. So I used to send out weekly status reports. And
Mm.
slowly over time, when I was listening to their complaints about their current loan officer, I would fill those gaps because I knew, even though it was male dominated, the men just sat back and held their hands out and just waited for things to come in. They weren't really working it.
Oh my gosh. I love hearing that because two things. One of our qualities as introverts is that we're very good listeners, and introverts tend to think that they can't be successful in sales because we don't like to talk, is the rumor. But the fact that we can listen, and in you listening, you picked up on what their pain points were, and that's how you were able to get in the door and be successful. So
Absolutely. That was
I
the
love
key.
hearing that.
Yeah.
Filling the gaps by listening. I love it. So, what else did I want to know about that particular part of your life before I go to this part next? That I got. Okay. So, now you are tapping into your creative side, which is inspired by, you said, your home economics, being a home economics major. And for the past 6 years, you kind of been, it's that creative side has been expressing itself as graphic arts and video making, AKA, I like this thing called media shorties. And I saw your holiday video cards, and they're gorgeous, and I love all the
Thank
music and
you.
everything. How did that come about? How did you like pivot from the industry that you're in, the mortgage industry into graphics and everything?
It was an interesting transition, needless to say. I
Hmm.
was working with real estate agents and I saw they needed help marketing their homes. And new software came out for the first time for the public to use
Hmm.
and purchase at a reasonable rate. It wasn't like you
Hmm.
had to have some high-end commercial piece. So I bought it and I started dabbling in it and I started making videos for my real estate agents to sell their houses
Oh,
and little promo clips. And they loved
yeah,
it because
uh-huh,
nobody else was doing it. It helped them stand
right.
out.
Uh-huh.
And it
That's
progressed from
awesome.
there.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And it just it makes me smile because again, I know people get sick of me throwing the term around, but I only do it because I want people like us to understand that we really do have a lot of superpowers. And the fact that we are curious and introspective people, and we can actually work alone well, right? So you by yourself without a team realize that, hey, another need, you found another need,
Yep.
and you kind of, like you said, you took the information, you learned what you needed to learn, and you turned it into a whole nother business, and you've been able to help other people do that for the past 6 years. So um, when we were talking about doing this interview, my understanding was that you were working on some things that the world might need to know. You have some packages or programs you're working on for marketing right now.
I
Do
do.
you want to? Okay. Do you want to share with everybody what that is and how they can benefit from it?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll do a lot of different things. And, I kind of grew my business by the needs of my clients. I would start out doing one thing and then he'd say, "Oh, by the way, can you do this?" And I would be like, "Sure."
And then go
And
learn how to do it. Yeah, that's me. I'll go. Google and YouTube are my friends.
so I knew I could do it. I just had never done it before. So
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, why not? So I would do it and I'd get positive feedback. And next thing you know,
Hmm.
they were telling their friends and it just kind
Hmm.
of mushroomed. But I'll do anything from styling, PDFs that entrepreneurs want or small businesses as lead
Hmm.
magnets. I
Hmm.
develop a lot of PowerPoint slide decks, videos, video testimonials. I'll do promotional reels and more. It just depends whatever they want.
Okay. Yeah, video testimonials are big, especially everything right now is going in that direction in terms of video. So anybody who's watching, please do reach out to her because and I might even be reaching out to you because me and
Okay.
a couple of coaches that I work with, we I do it sometimes, like I'll do the editing and stuff like that for video, but you know how it's like everybody has their thing that's like their core, like their strong suit, and the other stuff they do outside of it is kind of like labor of love. I'd much rather, and this is for the people listening too, like if it's a labor of love for you, you probably want to outsource it to somebody who loves the labor of it.
And right now I'm doing holiday video cards because I had clients ask for those. And that started last year when I had one request from a girl and she said, "My in-house team can't do this. Can you do this?" I said, "Sure." And now it kind of mushroomed into a big project.
I saw the videos, and I think they're gorgeous. It reminds me of I come from the logistics industry, and we always had, of course, the hard copy Christmas cards, but at the bottom of every email on holiday time, they would put, like a holiday picture. And I saw that and I thought to myself, I was like, how many, corporations could use this little video like at the bot, like in the email signature or something like that, or with it, COVID and everything, salespeople used to love to go and deliver the holiday cards to their customers. And like with your videos, they can actually just send them something without having to worry about, going door to door and that sort of thing. It's a safer way to still say, I appreciate you.
Yeah, and with the postage prices going up, it makes sense.
That too, yeah. Yeah. So if anybody wanted to get a hold of those videos or anything else that you have to offer in terms of social media shorties and graphics and video, how would they reach out to you?
They can email me at barb@barbmickelsen.com, which is BARBMICKELSEN. Or if they want to have a peek at the video cards, it's holidayvideos.convertri, which is convertri.com/DEC for December.
All right. I'm going to drop it in the description when I do post this. Um, can you repeat your email address again, though, because you broke up when
Oh, sorry.
you were saying it?
Barb@barbmickelsen.com. And Mickelsen is spelled MICKELSEN.
Got you. All right. So if you, and I saw them myself already and they're gorgeous. I do recommend you reach out to her if that's a thing for you and your company. Or if you know anybody who else who would be interested, just direct them to her. Her handle on Instagram, by the way, is at mortgage_closer. So if you want to send her a direct message when we get off here, and she can give you all the contact information that way as well,
Sure.
please do reach out to her. Before we go, one of the things you said you wanted to make sure everybody knew was that stand out by being you. Only you can offer your unique skill set to the world. And I thought that was a really good quote. I imagine that is directly from yourself. What inspired that thought that you wanted to share with everybody?
Because too many people try and be better. And it's not a competition about being better. You're in competition with you only. And you have to do the best you can do. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Don't try and compete with them. Sally Hogshead has a great quote. Different is better than better. So everybody's different.
I love that. Different is better than better. Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you for that. I think I love that because it's kind of a semi segue into my little tidbit. I like to give inspiration at the end of all these. And before I do give my little bit of inspiration, though, I want to know, how are you now on the comfort scale, on that 1 to 10, now that we're basically at the end? How are you feeling about
a little bit better?
going
The
live?
heart's still pounding.
The heart's still pounding, and naturally because this was your first one.
My first one.
Yeah, and you actually did really good. So
thank you.
pat yourself on the back. And I recommend you do more because more people need to hear all the things. I mean, it's your story is inspiring to me, and you've had a lot to it might not feel like it, but you've had a lot of things to overcome to get to where you are. And no, it wasn't like, people think of like the worst case, poverty and this and that. And no, I mean, sometimes it's just learning how to be comfortable with being yourself and knowing what your assets are and stuff like that in an environment that doesn't necessarily appreciate it, and still being able to excel.
And it wasn't a straight path like somebody would say, oh, this is a progression. That's
right.
normal. No, it's
right.
not.
Right. And people, you know, hopefully if you're watching that, you do take inspiration from that, because it's not always a straight path. It's not always, you know, and things will change. Like as women, we're very complex, and what we like today might be different tomorrow, and that's okay. It's the little bit of inspiration I have here, just like as a career woman, and even fresh out of college, we may realize that the path we originally set out on to do what we thought we would be fulfilling work can change based on many factors. You could have children, you could want to move to another city, you might get married, like whatever it is that changes can change what your original inspiration was to be on the career path that you're on. And in that change, it can create a lot of discomfort and even unhappiness, because you feel stifled in creativity, you feel stifled and stuck in life. Listen to those emotions. And no one's saying to take like crazy action off of them just yet, but like reflect on that and look to see where that's coming from. The reason we hold on to those careers, though, even though we're not happy, or maybe we might hold on to a business even though we're not happy, it's because of fear. It's fear of letting others down. You know, the many times that you pivoted, I'm sure you probably had thoughts of like, what are they going to think? You know, right? Like, I'm going from this to this. They're not 100% related. People are going to think I'm crazy, you know?
Even my husband did. Are you
Right.
serious? You're going to do this? You're leaving
Right.
that company? Yeah, it's time.
Yeah. And that's it right there. It becomes time. And your happiness is the biggest priority. And so, you know, like I said, we can not move forward because of fear of letting other people down, fear of what people might say, fear of even like, even with, let me ask you this, you know, some of the times that you had to pivot, was there a risk that it was going to affect your current like economic situation or your current lifestyle that you had become accustomed to?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You build your income up, and then all of a sudden you're leaving and going in another company, and you're starting at ground zero again.
Hmm. Hmm. How do you manage that though? Like, what are the thoughts you were having? What did you, you know, what were some of the things you had to do to prepare or be able to move forward without compromising your happiness?
Well, I did it before. I guess I can do it again. And the second
That's
time you
good.
do it, the third time you do it, it just happens faster.
I love that you said that. That's one of the things we always like. Well, I have this. I'm one of the coaches for this group program called Slayer and the Critic, and one of the things we always tell them is just do more of those things that are uncomfortable, because the more you do them, it doesn't mean that it won't be challenging or it won't make you feel uncomfortable, but you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more prepared, a little bit more confident, because guess what? Like you said just now, I did it before, I could do it again. And you get to that next level faster because you carry, it's almost like a backpack of tools that you gain from each experience that you carry with you so that you can kind of like dig that hole faster than when you
Yeah,
did
you
it the
build
first time.
exactly. You build a system around it so that
Hmm.
you're armed and you know what you have to do. You've been
Hmm.
through it before. Here are the steps that I have to follow to get back up to
Hmm.
where I was, and
Hmm.
that's what helps.
Awesome. So, um, keep going with my inspiration. So in terms of the things that we could be fearful about for why we won't make a change for our own happiness, the list can go on and on. But we end up conforming in some spaces. Like some of us don't make the little changes we need to make for our happiness, and some of us, you know, do nothing at all. We conform and we keep going and we stay unhappy. JFK said, conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. So every time you say no to what you want out of life, out of fear, you're putting yourself deeper and deeper into jail, further and further away from growth, further and further away from the opportunity to have the freedom that you dreamed of when you first chose whatever road you went down in the first place. So I challenge you today to start taking the steps towards your freedom from what might be an unfulfilling grind, whether it's your 9 to 5, or maybe it's, you know, you like your 9 to 5, but it's, you want something else. You want something more. Start a side gig, pick up a hobby, do something that's going to help you be able to serve others. And just remember that it's never too late to pivot, no matter how old you are or how, if you just left college. If you've been in a career for 20 plus years, whatever it is, it's never too late, too early to decide that your happiness is what's the most important thing. And if you need somebody to hold your hand along the way, I could be here for that. But I do want you to make sure that you start putting yourself first when it comes to your future. We get one life only. And it sounds like you've been living yours.
Been trying.
So before we go, last thing, one piece of advice for anyone looking to 25 years in to the mortgage, alone, right? Mortgage industry alone.
Yep.
What is one piece of advice you wish you had when you decided to switch at any point in life, pivot at any point in your life?
I wish I would have hired an assistant. It
Okay.
held me back because I was doing everything. And then I built the business up to a place where I was overwhelmed. I was overworked and it wasn't fun anymore. And that's when I decided I'm going back to my creative side.
Okay. So very good advice. I hear a lot of people say that now. Some people wonder, like, well, when is a good time to add people to my team or contract out work and things like that? When the business that was your heartfelt business all of a sudden feels like work, it's time to dig in and see what are those activities that I could have somebody else do so I can do more of what I'm good at and what I like to do.
Exactly.
And yeah, so awesome. Well, thank you for that piece of advice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for making this easy.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, hopefully now, if anybody else asks, you'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But thanks for being on the platform with us. And everyone, have a good Sunday and talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.